Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
What up? What happens? Welcome back to another edition of Scottplex City. I'm Scott Pank, that's Scotty B. And breaking news from earlier today is SmackDown is...
It's going live. And we're not talking it's going to go live on Thursdays. It's going live on the night they usually record SmackDown. It's going to be on Tuesday nights.
That's awesome. I didn't expect this.
I didn't expect that at all.
I was expecting to hear a brand split or something along those lines.
They're talking. I guess they're talking that. I don't. From what I've been reading, all the other sites are they're saying brand split, and WWE is kind of saying that it's going to have the unique rosters, but they're not really saying so much a brand split. So it's kind of hard. The wording that WWE is using and some of these other wrestling sites are using, basically all the other ones are saying, oh, it's a brand split. And WWE is just saying unique rosters. So it's like, what exactly are they going to do? Are we going to have two separate world champions again? I doubt that's going to happen.
I like the idea of one world champion on both shows. That's how I like it. And I think that they give the IC...
Yeah, that was my thought, would be like the IC and the US titles, those be the unique to the brands, and then have the tag team, the women's, and the World Heavyweight Championship, that be both champions on both shows.
Right. That would be pretty dope. I really am looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it going live, because they're going to have to do something extra to make it special.
Definitely.
With it being live. This first show, I mean, I would think they're going to bring in somebody like Brock Lesnar or The Rock.
That would work.
Get The Rock to come back. Hey, I started SmackDown. I'm here for the first episode of it. I think they're going to do something special, especially for the first one.
They would have to.
July 19th?
July 19th is going to happen, yeah.
Wow, that's close. Did you see the interview Shane had with
Yes,
Nick?
I did.
They didn't really touch on the product, but I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't fully go in on the product.
It looked like they were going to talk about it, and they ran out of time.
Exactly.
So
He was like, it's getting there.
Yeah.
So maybe this is all part of what Shane wanted to come back, because Shane was saying on that podcast that there was stipulations that would have to be in his favor for him to come back and be a part of the company once again.
Very well could be it.
Maybe this is it.
I mean, I definitely think they needed to shake SmackDown up, because it got very bland. It became a throwaway show.
Yeah.
You know, with this, you can build new stars, because you're not focusing onto certain ones to build up on and whatnot. I think you're also going to get more people at these SmackDowns now, because the last few times they've had SmackDown at the Times Union Center here in Albany, very empty arena.
And when we have Raw, it's full.
It's pretty much full,
so,
almost a sellout. And when you go to a SmackDown, the last time I went, I actually had to get my seat moved, because I had a certain section, but they wanted to move everyone over because they wanted to fill it and make the arena look full. So I had to move over to a not as good section. So I think you're not going to have that problem as much if it's live and you got some very well written storylines and stuff like that going on.
What does this mean for a company like TNA, who is on Tuesday nights?
They're screwed. They're screwed.
Do they need to move now?
Again?
Like go to Wednesdays, Thursdays?
Wednesdays will be bad because you got NXT that
or is it just better for WWE to scoop up EC3, Eli Drake, and Mike Bennett and just be like, crush them? Because they're the only ones, other than the Wolves, I can't think of anybody who's there that's really worth keeping around. Because that company, and now that they're going to have direct competition like that, and WWE is going to be live, TNA, that's just hard. EC3's coming to town also.
I saw that. He's coming to some sports car show or something like that.
Yeah, we're signing autographs and all that stuff.
I'm going to have to stop by.
I'm going to go say what up to my boy there. But I'm pretty much getting ready to say goodbye to TNA. This might be the...
I can see them possibly, once again, maybe moving back to Thursday, because I think at one time they were on Thursdays. But I think they moved once SmackDown moved back to Thursday nights, their original night, and they moved to Tuesdays. Move. So, and for the most part, a lot of people don't even know what day Impact is on anymore, because they moved around so much. And there's many people who don't even know what network it's on, because they moved around so much. So, I mean, for them to move around to another night again, I don't think would be a huge thing because.
Or do they try to take it like up front and have a mini war type thing? There wouldn't be no level of WWE and WCW war, but.
They tried that many years. They tried that like 6 years ago.
Did they try that before?
Oh yeah, they moved to Monday nights 6
oh,
years ago. That's
they tried to take on Raw.
Yeah,
like
when Hogan first came in, they tried it, and it lasted just a couple of months, and then all of a sudden they come out, oh, breaking news, due to fan support and whatnot, we're going to move back to Thursday. No, it's because you got your asses kicked on Monday nights.
True.
So that's why you went back to Thursdays.
So that's going to be interesting to see there. There's a lot that's going to happen. Maybe we'll get the battle of Shane and Stephanie, and also maybe being live too allows Shane and Stephanie now to be on SmackDown because it's now they're gone just Monday and Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be gone, a couple times a week. They don't have to fly home then leave. They could just go from one location to the next location because they are family men and women, Shane and Stephanie, so they definitely want to spend their time with their family. But how is Triple H going to get involved here? Is he going to be something special with SmackDown? Does he try to do that? So the possibilities with what they can do is really kind of endless right now.
I mean, obviously Triple H has been out of the picture since WrestleMania. It's interesting where they're going to go with that. I don't know. I can't even take a guess.
Did any spoilers come out from SmackDown? Did they mention it on the taping?
Spoiler alert, I think we have another Money in the Bank qualifier. I think Alberto Del Rio is going to be in that, so watch that on Thursday nights. That was like the only big thing I think that came out of SmackDown.
Speaking of Alberto, we're getting a house show where it's Cena and Alberto as the main event.
That's not bad.
For a house show?
Those two are good together.
Like a house show?
That's not. Is that a...
That's like I'm surprised. Like that's like that could be a Raw.
That could be a Raw.
You know what I mean? So I was just like surprised. Speaking of Del Rio,
I'm digging that. Those two are really good together in the ring, and they have a house show with that. I'm digging it.
Cody Rhodes announced and requested his release from the WWE.
That's a shock.
Has there been any word why?
I read on his statement that he posted on his Twitter page.
Okay.
He was very frustrated with the writing team. That he was basically coming up with all sorts of suggestions, and they basically just turned a blind eye to it. They're like, no.
Do you think he's like kind of jealous that Goldust is getting a little more shine than he is?
I don't know. I just think he's just sick of where he was. He wasn't happy with the Stardust gimmick. I think he actually wanted to get out of it. There was at one time I think they were going to get rid of it, and then Vince decided, no, we're gonna stay with this.
Okay.
So I think he's just been frustrated as far as the character goes, and he feels he can do a whole lot more. So it makes you wonder where he's gonna go. Could we see him in TNA? I hope not.
ROH.
That would be so much better for him. I mean, as much as ROH is not the big time, they are probably the best of the indies out of all of them.
New Japan?
That would be good for him,
too. Would he leave his wife like that? Now, what does that mean for his wife? What's her name? Eden?
It's Eden. Well, she goes by, her real name is Brandy, but Eden Styles, the character, the ring announcer, she has since asked for her release as well.
She has?
Yes.
Okay, because remember when we first seen this news, I was like, I wonder what that's going to mean for his wife.
So I think her last show was SmackDown last night, the tapings. She said on her Twitter that she had other things that she was going to pursue. She had an opportunity she's going to take. I kind of find that interesting that, Cody asked for his release, and all of a sudden she's an opportunity to come up. That sounds a little weird there, but
it's CM Punk AJ on a different level.
Yeah, and from what I'm reading, it's this whole thing. Basically, Cody did not leave on good terms. So
really?
That's not cool. That kind of sucks because he's a great talent. He was able to really do with all his characters that he ever did, the dashing Cody Rhodes and the Stardust and just being regular Cody Rhodes. Anything that he did, any sort of gimmick that he had, he excelled at it, and they really did nothing with him, which is a damn shame because he was one of the best.
I always liked him. He was cool. I really started to like him when I kind of got a little biased. Was years ago I got to interview him in DBS. And I can't. What was their tag team called again?
They were part of the Legacy or Priceless. I think it started as they were Priceless.
Whatever that tag team was.
And then they became part of the Legacy with Orton.
They were just. He was so cool. DiBiase, young DiBiase. He wasn't as cool as Cody. Cody was like really cool during the interview, and I always liked him since then. And I like the mustache gimmick, everything with Cody. So it's going to be sad to see him go.
The Rhodes Scholars with Sandow.
Yeah.
And now maybe they'll get together in the Indies and do that again.
Oh, wow, maybe.
There you go.
And maybe Adam Rose will jump on board too and be like, hey, come along the potty train. I don't know why. Why did he request his release? Why? I don't know if the WWE was even going to let him go. I think they might have even gave him a chance.
Yeah. I think he was thinking probably if and when he does come back, he'll be in Jobber City the rest of his life, and he'd rather be just somewhere where he's a little more happy. I mean, he did it to himself.
He did.
So maybe he's just going to leave and just let it be that and find happiness elsewhere. Maybe he just thinks he felt the need is he needs to get his life back together, and this was the good way to do it.
Wow. The party definitely stopped.
It's party time every time.
Even when you're in jail.
Yeah.
With other men pushing up on you.
Oh, stop now.
Okay. Well, he's in jail, right? Or did he get released?
No, I think he posted bail.
Okay.
He posted bail.
Okay, so at least he could party at home with his wife pushing up on him.
Ah.
Not a strange guy that you have no idea who he is. All right, well, anyways...
moving on.
We'll get to Raw, and we're going to kind of combine Raw and Extreme Rules a little bit here, but I want to say that Scotty was 7 of 8 out of match predictions. I was 6 of 8. So, not too bad. We did pretty good here. You definitely, you did better, so you got the victory here. You got the bragging rights. I'll take this out.
I picked The Miz, and you didn't, right?
That's exactly what it was. I picked Cesaro.
Gotcha.
And then look what happened the next night with Cesaro.
Yeah. He beats The Miz and qualified for Money in the Bank.
So I was just wrong with the...
just wrong with the
Just
day.
the wrong night. Just the wrong night. That's all it was there. Also, hit that subscribe button, Panks Podcast. That way you can get Scott Plex City every single week when we drop this. At Scott Radio is my handles.
Find me on Twitter, ScottyB1976. That's Twitter. Scotty Bizzle 76. That's on Instagram. And just look up Scotty Blaine on Facebook. You find me there. That's Scotty with an IE, not a Y.
Now we're gonna get into matches, and we'll talk about the matches and kind of where that's setting up for Money in the Bank in a second. But we gotta talk about Seth Rollins.
He's back.
That's the news. That's what everybody's been waiting for.
Seth freaking Rollins is back.
He is one of the best mic workers the business has had in the past 20 years. No doubt about it. He really knows how to take a crowd and take an audience's emotion and just flip it on them. He comes out, at the end of the Extreme Rules, after Roman Reigns wins the championship, retains the championship. Thank you. And he comes out, Roman celebrating. He does his little thing. Then he pedigrees him, picks up the belt, holds it. Crowd is loving it. We get to Raw the next night. He comes out to start out Raw. The crowd is loving him. Like
he's basically doing the whole good guy shtick. It's like, you missed me, huh? Boy, it's glad to be back out here. And then craps.
He flipped it on him.
He totally flipped it on him.
And he got the crowd to turn on him, which is exactly what it is. Kind of surprised if they're going to keep going with Roman and with the Seth thing, and because they're both kind of heels right now, so I wasn't really expecting them to turn him like that. I thought they might have, because I've been saying I think he's going to be a face when he comes back and be a high flyer and all. But you've been kind of saying that he'll be a heel anyway.
He's going to be a heel anyway. He's a heel, but the crowd is cheering him on, and then you have Roman, who's supposed to be the face, but the fans hate him.
Is it a hard type of matchup for people to get invested in, or do people just love it because it's the Shield?
I think they love it because it's the Shield.
So they give it that pass.
They give it that pass, yeah. They like Rollins. They want him to be the champion again because he deserves to be, and they just want to see Roman Reigns.
So lose. He just gets that pass because of his history.
Absolutely.
So it's like all the young hip hop fans giving Drake a pass, like saying everything he does is classic. They just give him a pass.
If you say so, I don't listen to that kind of music.
That's been my big argument. In my other life here, I don't have two lives,
you
but...
used to comment on my cell phone. I'm sorry.
You know Drake.
Yeah, of course I know Drake. You know, I know the music.
Well, the kids all be like, he drops an album and 2 hours later everybody's like, it's a classic. You can't call something a classic after a day, a week. You gotta let it sit a couple of years. I don't care if it's hip hop, if it's rock, if it's pop or whatever. You gotta let an album sit before you call it a classic.
That's true. Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses. That's a classic album right there. I hate the fact that I'm saying that, but
it is. You know what I mean? You gotta see what stuff does to how it reflects the culture and what it does for other bands and how it is. Whatever, that's a whole nother thing. But anyways, he gets a pass. He gets that pass because he's in S.H.I.E.L.D. Or was in S.H.I.E.L.D. Where's this going to go? Are we going to kind of get, just a really, is it just Roman versus Seth? Is Seth going to bring people in his corner now? Is Roman going to get rid of the Usos? Like, how do you think this is going to go from here? Because honestly, I think the Usos are kind of over right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the Usos were good with Roman when they were doing the whole thing with the club, but it looks like AJ is backing away from Anderson and Gallows. So where does that leave the Usos? I'm thinking it's going to be one-on-one, and we might get Dean Ambrose involved in here too, because he's now going to be a part of the Money in the Bank. He won his qualifying match. Could we see him get the briefcase, and then something happens there, so we finally get that triple threat match that we've so desperately wanted for all this time?
Yeah, I was thinking that probably the Money in the Bank briefcase holder will be Dean Ambrose, and then we could get we get all three of the S.H.I.E.L.D. members involved in the championship reign. And they're going to bug for that because Dean could tease and tease and tease that he's going to cash in. And, I mean, even Rollins and Roman, they could go back and forth. They could flip-flop title 3-4 times back and forth through the next couple pay-per-views, get us up to SummerSlam. They can really... This is going through SummerSlam.
I would think so.
Somehow...
Or maybe somehow Triple H gets involved in this whole thing, because once again, where does he lie in this whole thing? Maybe he somehow gets involved and does something to screw over or Rollins.
Yeah.
Because we saw with Stephanie and Seth on Raw, Seth was all like, "Oh, Stephanie, so glad to see you," and she was kind of like, "Our business arrangement has changed. What's going on there?"
Yeah, what does that mean for Triple H? What does that mean?
They're making you think. They're making you wonder what's going to happen here. It's progressing. Doesn't everything have to happen in one night? Okay, what's going to happen here? Let's tune in the next episode. I like it. I always like that.
How much input do you think Shane has on everything right now?
It's hard to say.
He was also saying he needed to come back, and his father kind of needed to let him have freedom.
Yeah. From that interview that he had with Foley, it kind of sounded like basically the reason why Shane came back was the fact that we had all those injuries. We lost Seth, we lost Cena, we lost Cesaro, we lost Randy Orton, and a few others, and Vince really needed a name. So that's the reason why Shane got the call. So does this mean Shane is going to stick around for a while? It's looking like it. I mean, I didn't expect him to last this long, so I don't know if he's got all sorts of info. I mean, obviously, it's the family business.
I think he's here to stay.
I'm hoping he is.
I really think he's here to stay from here on out, unless something crazy goes down and he has to walk away again. Charlotte, she defended her and retained her title at Extreme Rules. You thought you had Ric Flair coming out, but it ended up being Dana Brooke.
Which we kind of called last week, where we said Dana Brooke needs to be with somebody else.
Yep.
And who does she end up going along with? Charlotte. My question is, was this kind of a last-minute change to put her along with Charlotte, or were they thinking of putting Charlotte and Emma with, not Charlotte, Dana Brooke and Emma with Charlotte?
Maybe.
There's always the possibility of both of them, and it is modified a little bit since there's no Emma. So that's the question I kind of have there. I'm thinking probably it was, since they had nothing else for Dana, since that whole Emma thing happened, they decided, okay, let's put her with Charlotte and we can do this. But, once again, we don't know what's in the minds of the writers, and we don't know what was thought or what was going to happen.
And then the next night on Raw, Charlotte comes out, cuts a crazy heel promo. The crowd kind of tried to turn on her, but she was able to flip it. She's really good on the mic. She might get distracted at points. The crowd takes her away, but she's able to regain quickly and really put the crowd in place. And she's doing a good job with controlling the crowd when in a hostile environment.
Because they started doing the whole what thing and all that kind of stuff, and she basically just told them to shut the hell up and
wooed them out.
They kind of did, yeah.
And then she told her father, "Get lost, I don't need you. You were never around for my life. Now you can feel what it's like." And watching me on TV, all I did was watch you on TV. It was a pretty,
it was pretty intense.
And so Rick left, and he was crying, all this stuff. And then it sets up for Charlotte and Dana to be this team right now. How Ric Flair's going to be involved. Somehow he's going to come back. I think he's going to come out next championship match and come out during it, and then it's going to screw over Charlotte, and that's how she's going to lose the title.
That could happen.
I think she's going to be a part of that. So we'll
he's got to come back.
I
don't think he's done. I don't think he's done anything
he plays a huge role in her losing her next title.
I would think so, yeah.
Or regaining it. He comes out of nowhere and helps her, but I think he's going to.
Or this could be like the whole dirtiest player in the game type thing, where you think he's gone and you think he's going to end up screwing over Charlotte, and he ends up screwing over the person that they're going against.
They've just been playing us the whole time.
He's the dirtiest player in the game. They are now the dirtiest players in the game. That's a classic Ric Flair type move. Woo!
Dean Ambrose took on Chris Jericho in an Asylum match, which was pretty good.
It went a little long.
It took a little long to get to the tax, but we haven't seen tax in like 10 years in the WWE, so
forever,
that was really cool to see.
I didn't expect that.
It looked like it hurt a lot. I don't know where Jericho took on Apollo Crews the next night on Raw. I don't know if we're going to give Jericho versus Crews, but I would kind of dig that match right there.
There was a few botches. Crews messed up a little bit. He went for that kip up, and Jericho was going for the moonsault at the same time. Like, oops, somebody screwed up their spot right there.
It's probably...
And because you could actually hear Crews, like, I think when Jericho was pinning him, you could say, "I'm sorry, man, it's messed up," so. Yeah,
definitely Crews messed up there. So that was really cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. But like we're saying, Dean's probably going to win the briefcase and Money in the Bank, I would assume. But we also got, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, everybody. They're going to be in the Money in the Bank. But I think this is just going to somehow they're still going to screw over each other.
Absolutely.
Because we're not quite to that feud yet. We're still building to the actual Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens feud. We know it's there, but they're building for it. They're just giving it the storyline. But that was a great match. The IC Fatal 4-Way match probably stole the show.
Yeah,
absolutely. That might be the best scene right there. Those four guys in the Intercontinental Championship, that's probably the best scene in all of wrestling right now.
And once again, The Miz was in there, and you can't take anything away from the guy. He's really, really good. And the fact that he was in that match showed him that he deserves to be where he is. He deserves to be the Intercontinental Champion. All four of those guys are great.
Loved every minute of that match. And then the next night on Raw, even though Miz lost the championship to Cesaro, that was a great match. Once again, another great match.
He lost the match and he didn't lose the title.
Oh, I thought it was for
it wasn't for the belt. No.
Oh, okay.
Just for the Money in the Bank privilege.
Oh, okay. I missed that then. I was half asleep. So,
yes, as was I.
All right, well,
we're busy people.
That's good. Then I'm glad that Miz is still champion.
Yes,
then that's my boy. New champion Rusev. He took the U.S. title. I mean, the match was what it was. I mean, it's exciting to have Rusev as U.S. champion because he can do a whole lot being in another country. Maybe John Cena feud. We'll see. They need to do something with that belt.
I think we mentioned this either last week or the week before. Who's coming back on Memorial Day? A big-time American holiday. John Cena! Dun, 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 dun. And who's got the U.S. belt?
Rusev Crush.
Rusev Mashka. Are we going to have John Cena win back the belt? I could very well see it happen.
Oh, yeah. The U.S. title needs something.
Right
that you might as well give it to Cena. It needs something. It needs meaning again because it has nothing. They found a way to make the Intercontinental Championship belt. They found a way to make that belt relevant and mean something. Now they need to work on the U.S. title, and honestly, it's probably
John Cena probably made it the most significant that it ever was when he was champion.
We had New Day, they defended the championship against the Von Villains, which was a really good match.
A bad match.
I still don't think the Von Villains are really going to get over. I think they'll be a nice working... I'm like, they're going to need to change their gimmick somehow. I think they'll be a good working tag team, but I don't see that.
I'm actually kind of warming up to them a little bit.
Are you?
I still kind of hate the gimmick because it's one of those things that obviously it's going back to the past type thing. I don't know if you remember Deuce and Domino. They were a greaser gimmick. I don't know how long ago now. 5, 6, 7 years ago. I might even be longer than that. But it was a 50s greaser gimmick. And it just was one of those things. You knew it wasn't going to last. I feel kind of the same thing with the Vaudevillains. Since it's an old-timey gimmick, that it's not going to last that long. They need a little tweak to their gimmick for it to last.
A gimmick that I've liked recently that I didn't really like in NXT. See, I like Von Villains in NXT. I'm not really digging them so much in Raw. But I hated Baron Corbin in NXT, but I'm digging him on Raw.
Yeah,
He's doing a good job. Like that promo he cut on Raw, where he is like, listen, I didn't have dreams of being in the WWE. Blah, blah, blah. If you're good at something, you get paid for it. Whatever it was. I thought that was a good heel promo. So he's really working his way up. He beat Ziggler in a great match. Ziggler, he is so underutilized, but
he seems to be
he's a good person
kind of like
to go
the superstar jobber. He's starting to get the whole Zack Ryder type.
That glorified jobber right there. He is the definition. He should lead the social workers. I know it's social outcast, but I like social workers. It just sounds better in my opinion. And then lastly, Enzo.
He's back.
He came back.
He's back.
He is...
And that crowd pops huge, too.
So that's going to be huge right there. Huge. Enzo and Big Cass. Now we're probably going to see them take on the Dudley Boys for the Tag Team Championships, and that's going to be major.
Yeah, down the line, I would definitely see the Dudleys possibly winning one more time to give Enzo and Big Cass. But once again, they could always just have a good guy versus a good guy tag team title match with New Day and Enzo Big Cass.
I don't know.
I don't want to see that sort of thing, but they could go that way.
If Enzo and Big Cass take on the Dudleys, who does New Day take on next? Usos? Because the Usos are kind of over it? That's it. Usos are taking on Enzo, or Usos are definitely taking on New Day. I see it coming. Because Usos are doing nothing, and now New Day's doing nothing.
Yeah, it's true. They really don't. Well, they don't really have a team.
And the Golden Truth ain't going in there.
Or Breeze Tango, or whatever the heck they call them. Maybe they're going to be the next big tag team they're going to do. They might do a little something. Change the name first, Call them like the Gorgeous Dancers or whatever, like we said last week. But just, they could be a good tag team. They to me, they work well together, but that name's got to go. I don't know, because they really, to me, they don't have a team set, a good heel team set to go against the New Day. I mean, it looked like they were going to try to do something with the Social Outcasts on Raw when they attacked the New Day, and then they got squashed. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's not really.
That's why I didn't even bring them up and consider it, because it was just really just like maybe.
I don't know if they're going to keep on maybe pushing the Vaudevillains. Maybe they're going to go for another chance, build them up a little bit more. The Dudleys would be, to me, they would be the good option. That'd be the good heel tag team, But they seem to be jobbing out to all the newbies. Yeah. Because that's what they're there for these days now. It seems.
It would be awesome if it was Enzo and Big Cass versus the New Day. But somehow New Day needs to get more heelish. But they're still, I don't know. They're still a heel team because they do heel characteristics, but it's a tough day and age. It really is.
I mean, when you think about the New Day so much, they didn't change. I mean, people started cheering for them. I mean, they never changed from when they were really heel to what they're doing now, except maybe they would bet they used to like.
They don't say power positivity that much.
Yeah, and they didn't really bash like the local sports teams and stuff like that, like they did when they were heels. But the gimmick didn't change all that much. Yeah. So.
Well, we'll see where it goes from here. Exciting news: SmackDown live Tuesday nights, July 19th. Anything else you could think to?
Bye-bye TNA.
R.I.P. July 19, 2016. TNA was laid to rest.
a live show going as a show that was taped how many months ago?
Probably 2-3 months ago. Good luck.
Bye-bye. On a network that no one really knows where it is.
Exactly. You got anything else to add in there?
Channel. I think that's it.
Hey.
I think we're good.
Well, that's that. And Money in the Bank is a couple weeks away. We're looking forward to Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns being involved in the heavyweight championship scene. Hopefully something comes along and that's where it leads to after Money in the Bank. I'm
just hoping that it's going to be something like Dean. Because if Alberto Del Rio gets that Money in the Bank... Okay, he's already got Paige now, okay? He doesn't need that damn freaking Money in the Bank briefcase.
That's true. You've got enough.
His prize right now.
You've got enough. All right, hit that subscribe button, Panks Podcast. That way you get Scottplex City every single week when we drop it. At Scott Radio is the handle. How they get you?
Scotty B 1976 on Twitter, Scotty Bizzle 76 on the Instagram, and find me on Facebook at Scotty Blaine. That's Scotty with an I-E, not a Y.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Scottplex City. See ya.
Bye.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.